Welcome back to another Nightly Nuge. Ted, I know you rarely think about our southern border and the security there, being a Texas boy. And you know what? I'm sure up in Michigan and here in my home state of Kansas, we almost feel like border states everywhere now. But I'm going to give you a stat, Ted. People talk about how porous our border is, and that since the Biden administration, a lot of the Trump era policies have been disbanded and people are coming across, and we see some video. But I don't think our Nightly Nuge listeners fully grasp how big this problem is. And I'm going to give you a stat, Ted, that it blew my mind when I saw it. Since Joe Biden took office, there have been 4.2 million illegals that have crossed the southern border into the United States. I'm not talking about how many that were already here. 4.2 million illegal crossings into our country since Joe Biden took office. Ted, that's a larger population than 23 of our United States of America's. Mind-boggling. What do you think?
I celebrate and promote and revere legal immigration. My grandparents, Rachel and Henning Johansson, came from Sweden, and my mom was 100% Swedish. And they came and they learned English on the way so they would be an asset to their neighbors and their great new country. They wanted the American dream of being the best that you can be and being able to communicate with your neighbors so that you are an asset to your neighbors, not a liability to your neighbors. So let us know all across this great land that the Nugent family and everybody I know, my band, my crew, my fellow Huntons, the Keith Mark family, everybody I know, we celebrate and thank God for legal immigration. We're big supporters and we love legal immigration. But an invasion is taking place that is being orchestrated and facilitated by the United States government that is nothing short of treasonous. When you literally welcome people swimming across the Rio Grande by the millions, and believe me, Keith, when you get an official statistic like that, it's merely the tip of the iceberg. I communicate on a regular basis with those great heroes of the Border Patrol. I know these guys. I've been down on the southern border. I've walked that southern border right there on the Rio Grande. And the Border Patrol agents are so frustrated. But we have to start raising more hell. We are literally welcoming in, and don't give me this lie, this constant lie about unaccompanied children. They're military-aged men, many of whom are violent criminals and rapists and sex traffickers. And the ones who are rapists and sex traffickers are the ones I'm talking about. If you're not a rapist and a sex trafficker, I'm not talking about you. But there are so many vicious, violent, satanic MS-13, rape, torture, murder. It's the battle cry of these gangbangers from Mexico, and they're coming across our porous border by the millions.
And you know what, Ted? I saw recently, it's not just Mexican criminals,
Somalians, Kenyans, terrorists from
Afghanistan.
Yes, they're called OTMs, other than Mexicans, and there's actually more of them than just people looking for an American dream coming across the border. And believe me, I know a lot of these legal immigrants. They're hardworking people. They do want to get out of the stranglehold of this tyrannical, evil, gangster government of Mexico. Who wouldn't want to get out of there? There's no freedom in Mexico. And by the way, all my friends who go down to Mexican resorts and you spend hard-earned tax dollars down in Mexico, what are you, nuts? That money ends up in the criminal government, the criminal military, the criminal law enforcement. Actually, the law enforcement are basically just gangsters. They're a criminal gangster arm of a tyrannical government. Why would you go to Mexico, go to Key West, go to Texas, go to Arizona? Let's not spend any more money. All due respect to my buddy Sammy Hagar, I can't imagine spending an American dollar in a tyrannical slave hell of Mexico. What is wrong with you people? Well, nothing happened to me. Well, isn't that convenient? But meanwhile, the sex traffickers are benefiting from your tourist dollars. Tell me you know this. So yeah, Keith, the border is just a mess, and with no respect for Governor Greg Abbott, you don't stop an invasion by giving invaders a ticket to your capital. That's not how you stop an invasion. You stand on the border like the Nugent family does on our private property, and we go, you're not allowed to come here. Go away. Turn around. Get lost. And that might sound rather harsh, but there's a legal way to do it. The door is down the road a piece. If you want to come to America, you got to come here legally through the legal entryway. Are you kidding me?
Two final thoughts. You know, you mentioned Governor Abbott sending those that cross the border illegally to other ports of the country. I noticed that in New York, they're just simply enrolling them into schools, and they're just going to integrate them into our population. I don't think that's the solution. I will do whatever it takes to ensure that Donald Trump is never again near the Oval Office. These words were spoken by someone very recently, and I'm going to get your take on this tomorrow night, Ted, right here on the Nightly Nuge, where there is no fake news.